All right, cows, move along. Move along. Well, they're heading down the trail. This could be interesting. Good morning. It is morning of day 4. I just left Whispering Pines campground. Having a little bit of issues with my right ankle. It's kind of swollen this morning. I think I've got a little bit of an overuse strain kind of on the top of my ankle. Probably mostly from the downhills. But Tyler, one of the Ohio guys that I hiked with yesterday for the afternoon, was kind enough to give me a couple strips of KT tape and an extra compression sleeve that he had. So that was nice of him. And we'll see if that helps. Felt good when I put it on this morning. It's pretty stiff, so just getting warmed up now and looking forward to second half. Hit the halfway point sometime yesterday, a little while before we got to the campground. Well, this is interesting. This is where I need to go. All right, cows, move along. Move along. Well, they're heading down the trail. This could be interesting. Well, there was a whole herd of cattle standing literally right in front of the gate that I was supposed to go through to keep going on the trail. And I banged on the gate a little bit, hoping that they would move off to the side, but they walked straight down the trail. So the trail parallels this gravel road for a little ways, and I know it crosses just up ahead. So I went around, backtracked a little bit, and now I'm walking on this gravel road. I'm hoping I can beat the cows to that next crossing. All right, cows, move along. Move along. We've got one straggler back here. Maybe walking with a little bit of a limp. It's just you and me back here, buddy. Bidding farewell to my cow friends. Made it past. Took a little bit of walking roundabout ways, but I made it. That's what I get for buying a beef stick yesterday. I was eating all vegetarian, then as soon as I buy a beef stick, there's a whole herd of cows standing in my way. All right, here we go. Back on trail. And now I am just past Pilot Knob trailhead, which means Centennial Trail now shares a path with an ATV trail for something like 20 miles. And I've heard that it can be pretty rough and torn up in places. So we'll see how it is. Hasn't been too bad so far, but just getting started on this stretch. So here we go. More cows. These are behind the fence. Oh, what a lovely spring here. Thanks. Carl? Well, that was a fail. Did it. No big deal. Now here's a better water source. Looks good. Few mud pits here, still on the ATV track. So far, has not been terrible. It's a little rocky and uneven, but not any tougher terrain than most of the trail. I would say if this was muddy all over, it would be a whole different ball game. There was one stretch that it didn't even look really wet, but it just the soil is kind of this clay stuff, and it's really slick and it sticks to your shoes. If it was muddy all over, like there's some wet spots, but mostly you can go around. If this whole thing was muddy, oh, it'd be slow going. Alright, I just passed the road, across the road where you would turn off if you want to go to the town of Nemo. It's, I think, the closest town along the Centennial Trail. So that's one option if you want to resupply, get some more food, or if you just feel like you want to go into town and get some ice cream or something. I think there's a gas station and maybe a cafe or something. It's not a very big town, but not exactly sure what's there. I would say, just because of the location, if you are planning to do a food resupply along the trail, I would definitely suggest using the Whispering Pines campground, which is where I was last night. They will hold food for hikers, and at least if you plan to camp there. And it's a lot closer to the halfway point. That was, I think it was maybe 5 miles past the halfway point if you're going northbound. And Nemo is probably another 10 or 12 past that, I think. So it is a nice option if you want to head into town for some amenities, but as far as the logistics, if you just want to do one food drop, I would do Whispering Pines. If you're going to do more than one, Nemo might be good for a 1/3 or a 2/3 drop. I'm not sure what other options you might have. You might just need to have someone bring it to you, like at Mount Rushmore or something. But anyway, I just filled up with some water, or I'll just grab some water out of the creek under the road. Got about 6 miles before the next water source, but it was super exposed and right along the highway, so I just grabbed my water, and I'm looking for a nice spot to sit in the shade and filter my water and have a little lunch. I believe I will stop here at this fine looking dining establishment. Table for one, please. You'll never believe it. The special today? Couscous served in a peanut butter jar. I just had this yesterday. At least it's a different flavor. update. The ATV trail is rockier, muddier, and steeper north of Nemo. But that's okay. This is how you know you're hiking. Oh, that's a view. At last, leaving the ATV trail back on single track. I don't know if you can see that. Oof, making good time, but man, this last couple of miles I'm starting to feel it kind of beat up. The ATV trails, I mean, they're kind of rocky and rough and stuff, but they're also really hard surface compared to footpath. It almost feels like I've been road walking all day. Past that section now, so I'm just heading down to Dalton Lake. My ankle's holding up pretty well, so thanks again to Tyler for the KT tape and the compression sock. I think that's helped. So, get down to the lake, get some water, have some supper, and make my plans for tomorrow. All right, I am just making the climb up from Dalton Lake. This is a little bit of a tricky section in terms of water. In 10 miles, there is a stream called Elk Creek, but it's marked as an unreliable water source on my map. If it is dry at Elk Creek, it's at least another 10 miles. So it's a 20, maybe a little bit more than 20 mile waterless stretch and quite a bit of climbing. So far it's been nice, nicely gridded switchbacks. I got to Dalton Lake around 5, so there's still plenty of daylight left. So I hung out at the creek there and basically drank as much water as I could, and I ate supper and just kind of brushed my teeth. I got everything ready. I did all the kind of camp chores that I could there, and then I fully loaded water, so I have 4 liters plus my peanut butter jar. It was like a stick with a little branch sticking up, and when I laid down, it poked through the floor of my tent, through the 1/8 inch foam pad that I had underneath my air pad, and through my air pad, and made a hole. Unfortunately, I did not have tenacious tape with me for some reason. Usually I carry that, but I did have duct tape on my trekking pole. So I patched it with duct tape and it seems to be holding. We will see. Hopefully it will get me through the night.